What is up, bookworms and constant readers? Welcome back to the channel. You saw the thumbnail, you know what it is. It is Star Wars: The High Republic Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. We'll get into the background a little bit, talk about the cover, what it's about, and give you my honest review on it, like I always do. So first, foremost, let's talk about the cover. I love book covers. I've said it numerous times in my videos. I do judge books by their cover. An interesting cover will catch my eye. I'll read the synopsis. If it sounds good, then I'll buy the book. You saw that last week in my spring book haul with Friend of the Devil. Had an interesting cover. It caught my eye. I picked it up. It sounded a lot like a Dresden's type Files book, and so I bought it. Interesting covers I just love, and this one, it has really cool artwork. I do like how not all of these, but most of these have the gold backing, so when they're on the shelf, they all look kind of identical. Basic white with black text back cover, nothing special. So yeah, the cover, it's okay. I mean, it really doesn't catch my eye. As a Star Wars fan, what would catch my eye is the lightsaber. They're iconic. I think even non-Star Wars fans know what a lightsaber is. And the author, in my opinion, here's a good picture of her. In my opinion, Claudia Gray has written some of the best stories when it comes to the new canon for Star Wars. She did Lost Stars, which is one of my absolute favorites. I think most of her books are considered YA books. I know this one is, but this is really a crucial story to read in the new canon. This has ties with the first book that I reviewed, which was Light of the Jedi. There's a lot of stuff, but people in Light of the Jedi that are mentioned in this book. And by the end of this book, the two books tie together. It's a really good job, considering multiple authors are writing this story, The High Republic. One of the books in my book haul is also part of the High Republic storyline. And if you don't know, if you're new to Star Wars books, there was a massive amount of Star Wars canon. There were hundreds and hundreds of books, had really great stories. There were bad stories as well, but Disney threw all that out when they took over Star Wars, and they started from scratch. The only thing they kept was episode 1 through 6. Everything else was turned into legends. And they did this, from what I can see so far, to pick and choose from that old canon what they wanted to bring in as the new canon. And for instance, you hear about things that happened in the Old Republic, but we don't know anything about the Old Republic. Like, you hear about Darth Plagueis. In these High Republic books, they talk about the Sith race. And there's a lot of stuff that they mention about the Old Republic, but they have yet to go into. There's no games, there's no movies, there's no TV shows, there's no books. This is as far back as Star Wars goes right now. And this is, I believe, like 250 to 300 years before the Phantom Menace. And the Old Republic is like thousands of years before. So throughout the books and movies and stuff, you hear about stuff that goes back, before these books, but we haven't had any stories yet. And I know just from different groups and stuff I'm in, people are really frustrated with that. So this book, it's taking place the same time as the first book, Light of the Jedi. So if you haven't watched that video or you haven't read that book, go do that and then come back to this video. I'll put a link up here, because you really do need to read that book to read this book. They are interconnected, and you'll understand more in this book if you read that book. So there's a space station on the frontier of space that the Republic has set up, and it's to try and bring in the Outer Rim planets into the galaxy and make them a part of the Republic. And they plan on doing that through this space station they built. I believe it's called Starlight Beacon. And there's a group of Jedi Masters and a Jedi Padawan who is going to his master that is already at the frontier. They board this transport ship called the Vessel, and it only has a crew of 3. And while they're in hyperspace to get to this frontier space station, the event that happens in Light of the Jedi happens at the beginning of this book. There's a huge explosion in one of the hyperspace lanes. A ship is totally destroyed. Nobody knows what is going on. All hyperspace lanes are shut down because it's not safe to travel through hyperspace. So when they come out of hyperspace, they're in this system that has this unstable star that is shooting out these massive solar flares. And the only point of safety is this abandoned space station. And so this ship and all other ships that dropped out of hyperspace, they head for this space station. And this is really when the story picks up and starts to unravel what the mysteries that are going on this space station. So the Jedi sense a really dark presence, like something that is steeped in the dark side of the Force. And they soon find out that there's more to this abandoned space station than anybody ever knew. They discover a new species that they've never seen before. They're like living, breathing, talking plants, and these plants are being held by these giant statues, and this race of beings are extremely dangerous, and they pose a threat to the entire galaxy. And the Jedi inadvertently release them from their hold, and they don't realize this until they've already left the space station. So then they have to go back And they also realize that one of the people that they helped on the space station is actually part of the Nil, who are enemies of the Republic. And so they're heading back to try and arrest them. And they head back to this station, and the Nil have already showed up. So now they're in a fight with this new race of beings that just want to kill everybody, not just the Jedi. And the Nil, who want to kill the Jedi. It's a really good story. I love how the story, like, it builds up. It keeps you wondering and guessing until the end. There are parts in the story that you will not see coming. And there are things about the Jedi that you see that we've never seen before. It's super well written. I really enjoyed it. It took me a little over a week, I think, total to read it, because I read multiple books at once. It's a very easy read. That's probably because it's just a YA book. But how the story is written and the pace of the story, you just want to keep reading to find out what happens next. And you also have like side stories that are going on along with the main story. So you start to learn about some of the other Jedi Masters. So one Jedi Master is female, and she has started to question the Jedi Council, and she decides to take a whole new path that I don't remember ever hearing about in any Star Wars story. I think it was called The Path of the Wayseeker, and she no longer follows the orders of the Jedi Council, but she's still a Jedi, and she forms like this like special connection to the Force. And then you have this other Jedi Master who he craves excitement and adventure, and that excitement and adventure is almost his downfall in this book. And then you have another Jedi who he also questions the council, and he has anger issues and like revenge issues. And so you really see how some of the Jedi are actually flawed, and it's not, this is the way it is, this is how I am, no attachments, no no emotions, I'm not afraid of anything, I don't get angry. Well, you find out in this book that they do, and there are consequences for those emotions. So that was a really cool aspect of this story. And the new species, they're kind of terrifying. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, really cool book. Claudia Gray, I think, writes some of the best Star Wars. I think maybe she is just as good, if not better, than Timothy Zahn, because Timothy Zahn is more of like a Grand Admiral Thrawn. expert, that's what he does. That's his thing. All of his books in the old canon really dealt with Thrawn, and all of his books in the new canon deal with Thrawn, and they are amazing books as well. But Claudia Gray has shown that she can write about anything in Star Wars, and super enjoyable. I gave this a 5 out of 5. I loved this story. It was so good. I can't wait to see what happens next. Next book, I believe, is Out of the Shadows, which I'll be reading here soon. Next up on the channel will most likely be another Stephen King book, because I'm almost done with Duma Key. And then I am also reading, for the first time in I don't know how many years, My Unicorn, a book I've never been able, the one and only book I have never been able to finish when I started it. Frank Herbert's Dune. I'm finally reading it. I'm determined to read it all the way to the end. So that'll be coming up on the channel. I really only read 2 books at a time now. I don't know what is going to come after Duma Key. I might start another Stephen King book. I really haven't decided. But that's what the future holds. There won't be another book haul until after summer. That's all I got for you in this video. Into the Dark by Claudia Gray, book 2 in the new Star Wars canon. Highly recommend it. 5 out of 5. If you love Star Wars, check out the books. They are amazing. If you want a good site to figure out the chronological order of the books, check out Yoda's Datapad. They do a pretty good job of listing them in chronological order and telling you where in the timeline they fall. So until next time, read more books.